Yo, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back. Today we have another tier list video. The first one, it went alright. It went. I feel like it wasn't bad. We just kind of like ranked some animes, and I feel like
Yeah,
for the most part, I guess I thought we had some hot picks. I really did, but like people didn't bring up those hot picks. Like, I kind of said some things about Attack on Titan. Didn't hear anything about that. I thought I would. I'm gonna be honest.
ooh,
I'm like, yo.
yeah.
When I said, I'm like, yo, people are gonna rip me apart for that one. No one did. But we made a comment about Bleach, and that's what got people mad. So hopefully, in this one, we are not going to be upsetting a ton of people. But if we do, we're sorry. This is just our opinion. We're gonna be going over Naruto characters. Pretty much, we're gonna be going off of their kind of relevance to the story, the importance of the story, and the impact to the community type thing. And yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If you're watching this, you're probably a Naruto fan. A lot of these are awesome. A lot of these characters are just absolutely incredible, so it's going to be tough. This is going to be a tough list to do, but I'm actually really, really excited. And of course, I got some hot takes. So
Heck
I'm
yeah.
definitely excited to get into it. You want to get started?
Yeah, man. First off, I just want to say, like, for me as a teenager and like a young boy, Naruto is still like holds up as one of the greatest animes of all time, if not the
Hmm.
greatest. I feel like it's tough to just pick one anime to be the best, but I feel like Naruto is a pretty strong case. So a lot of love here. I'm very excited. First character we got is the Raikage, the leader of the Lightning
Ooh.
Village. I
This
feel like he
is.
was pretty important, especially towards the end of the story and when Naruto was really starting to master like his nine tails chakra. So I feel like he does have some value in the story, although he does get scrubbed up quite a few times.
Although, was it him that really helped out? What was the dude with the nine swords or whatever?
Killer B?
Yeah, Killer B. Killer B. Killer B was what really helped Naruto. I think the
Yeah,
Raikage
he
wasn't
definitely.
too like I'd put him at decent. I'd put it like because if we took him out of the story, I mean, how much does he really do? Because I mean, I feel like Killer B was really the one from that region, that area, that really impacted the story and really kind of like shaped Naruto. Uh, I don't know. The Raikage is pretty
I'll go with
cool, but
Yeah, I'll go with decent because like his abilities and
mhm.
speed are still pretty high level, but you're definitely right. If you took Killer B out of the story, it would change a lot. Whereas the Raikage, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I agree.
And next, we got Anko from the tuning exams.
God tier.
Got here,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna
dude.
lie. I fucking the first time I saw her, I'm like, yo, I fucking love this chick. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of a crush. And then just kind of seeing her like throughout the story, I was like, yo, I absolutely love her. She's so cool. I love her personality. If I'm being unbiased though, if I'm being unbiased and I don't love her, I'd probably put it more as irrelevant.
I would do irrelevant too, because like at the time she was super cool with the tuning exams. It was
Yeah.
pretty hot. But like, if you look at the yeah, if you look at like the whole story, she doesn't really do anything, especially at the end. She's a cool character,
Hmm.
and you're right. I like her disposition, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, which is
I'd go
tough.
irrelevant as well.
If this was biased to just who we like, yeah, definitely got tier.
Should be up there, yeah. Absolutely. All right. Character number three is Asuma Sensei, Shikamaru Choji and Ino's sensei. I thought he was a super cool character. He had like that. He had a similar like attitude like Kakashi. He was like that cool older sensei. Was like pretty cool, calm, and collected the whole
Yeah.
time. And his fight with Haydn definitely an all timer, man. That was a really good arc. I think his death was very impactful. So
You know what's just kind of like slept on about him? Like you're right. He very cool character. They're very kind of like quiet, mysterious. Not quite as much as a Kakashi, but kind of demeanor to him. He had a little bit of a love interest, which was nice to see. Great teacher. His dad being the third Hokage adds a lot to it as well. And yeah, his death scene's insane. But I feel like we also have to talk about during the war arc when he came back. He made that shit
ooh,
hit so hard. Him and Choji's little interactions, and him trying to get Choji to actually like hit him and land hits, and the way he was like being like, "Yo, you guys gotta kill me or I'm gonna kill you." You know what I mean? And he was like really trying to like get them to fight him, and he was like, "Yo, like I'm so proud of you guys." When they finally beat him, it was just like, bro, he made the war arc hits like just so emotional, and it was just out of left field. So I gotta say legit or even god tier because there was multiple moments that he had that kind of gets you choked up a little bit throughout the series, and I feel like if he's not in the series, that's gonna suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. He had way too much value to not be to be in any other category. I would say legit. I didn't think his arsenal of like jutsu and moves were all that impressive, but he was definitely a very emotionally impactful character
Yeah,
for multiple of the cast. So I would go legit.
yeah, I'll put him in legit.
All right, sick. And then a perfect segue to our boy
Yeah,
Choji. I feel like Choji was a really sick character, and he had a lot of really cool moments from like the Sasuke retrieval arc to the end. Like he was always kind of an emotional character, which I think made it easy to love him,
mm-hmm.
especially in the Shinobi War arc. You know, like you were talking about with fighting Asuma Sensei. He's a he's a very lovable character, and he has some super cool moments. So I'm going legit. I think he
Oh,
deserves some
you
respect.
think legit? I was thinking more like decent because like okay, like yeah, the Sasuke retrieval arc that kind of hit hard. You think maybe he's going to die. You know that was tough to see. He definitely had a lot of moments, but like when you look at some of the other characters here, right? We can't put them all in God tier. You know, we're gonna have a lot of legits and I think decents, and I think Choji is more indecent because like if we got rid of him, I feel like there's still a lot of good story. You know what I mean? I feel like he wasn't like really impactful. Like Shikamaru was the one who was more so impactful out of that team. Like he's the one who was
Yeah,
like who like carried. You know, I feel like Choji and yeah, I think Choji and Ino were more kind of like a step down from that. More of like a background to that. You know what I mean? They weren't as impactful. So like Choji, I don't know. I feel like him putting him legit, especially like the Asuma. You know, after everything Asuma's done, you know, I feel like he's more decent. Like the
I would
high end of
definitely go
decent.
decent because I literally just googled it. I thought he was the guy that like kind of helped save Kakashi when he fights Pain,
No.
but it's his dad. It's definitely his dad,
Yeah.
Choji's dad. So decent is fair.
Should we put him ahead of the Raikage or? I think so.
I would. He has like more
Time.
relevance in the
Yeah.
story.
He has a lot more screen time as well.
Yeah, true that. Next up we got Danzo. So Danzo doesn't really appear too much in the story. He has like
God
one
tier.
one part. Um,
It's got to be God
I,
tier.
I feel
He's.
like his abilities and like kind of what we learn about the Sharingan and like some of those extra abilities at the time of his debut was like, yeah, definitely God tier. But that's pretty much it. He doesn't beat Sasuke, obviously,
Well,
but like
also because of plot armor. I mean,
yeah, that is fair. Like in hindsight, I mean, how old is Sasuke when they fight? Like 15, 16. This dude's
yeah.
been stacking Sharingan forever. Like it's pretty hard to see Danzo losing that fight in reality.
The reason
Um,
why I say God tier is because he was such a good. Okay, Naruto's great because like it's built a world of all these amazing characters, and that's what's gonna make this tier list so hard. But a lot of them are like broken heroes. You know what I mean? A lot of the
yeah,
Akatsuki we fucking love. I mean, like Obi, like so many of them. So I feel like Danzai was like the one true villain. He was the one true villain where like you're just like a fucking piece of shit. I can't wait for you to die. When he dies, we're just like, yes, we fucking
yeah,
celebrated that. You know what I mean? So like the whole reason, and again, it's kind of tough because like our criteria kind of is like all over the place with it. But like he's the reason why Naruto was bullied. You know what I mean? He's the one who leaked the information about Naruto having the Nine Tails in him.
that's
He's
true.
also the one that started the war between the Treehouse and the village. He's the one who really kind of started that rebellion and really kind of made it like on bad terms, and he's the one who prevented them from getting things together. They actually were about to have that peace treaty, and then that got fucked up, and that's when Itachi had the uh, family reunion, I guess. He kind of took matters in his own hands. But like Dazai really set everything into motion. He was the one true villain where you're like, you're a piece of shit. We just love to see his downfall. So I feel like the anime without Dazai in it for us to hate, or Danzo in it. I've been saying Dazai the whole time. Danzo, right? Not
I think
Danzai.
it is.
It's Danzo. I'm pretty sure. I feel like it just would not be the same. You know what I mean? For what he was meant to do, he did a phenomenal job at.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. The level he went to be just an absolute shit stirring villain
Hmm.
definitely had a huge impact on the story. So I'm definitely good with God tier. I'd put him in the back of that
Yeah,
tier,
yeah.
but
I'm down with
you're right.
beginning of legit or end of God tier.
Let's do end of God tier because like I think when you couple his abilities with kind of the impact he had on the overall story and kind of being a shit starter and leaking the information about Naruto, which I had
Hmm.
forgotten. He's definitely an
Yeah.
important piece of shit in the
Yeah,
story.
bro fucking sucks.
Yeah, I was glad Sasuke hacked him up, even if I was mad at Sasuke at the time.
Same. We're all mad at him. Like, you know what? You got a little couple brownie points there, bro.
Still take the W.
And then he tries to kill Sakura right after that, and he goes right back down to zero. And it's like, all right, good job.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's so funny. All right, next character is Dodara of the Akatsuki. I was always a huge fan. I thought he was super sick.
Really?
Like I liked his ability was cool with like making the clay birds and all that stuff out of his hands. Like just an interesting character. But he lost all his aura when he went to attack Itachi and Itachi hit him with that Tsukuyomi. My man, cool character, but not that cool after that. So
I hated. To me, he was very much like Sasuke, where it's like it's just an obnoxious amount of plot armor. You know what I mean? I feel like there was a couple. I feel like there was like 4 fights where he should have been dead, but kept surviving somehow. I found him to be kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Like he was good for what he's supposed to do, but I feel like if we're like, especially ranking Akatsuki members, like he's at the bottom. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I feel like he was just more like obnoxious with that, especially with his whole thing about art. You know what I mean? It's just like, and then he's creating like these bond,
yeah.
like it. You can kind of see it, but it's like, I don't know. Like I'd put him more at irrelevant. I feel like if he were not to be in the anime, especially with all the other Katskis around, like you wouldn't really notice.
Yeah, 100%. Like his fight with Gara is really cool, but that's really the only moment he shines. I feel like he's kind of
Hmm.
the defender or like the guy on his back foot in almost all of his fights. So irrelevant is definitely good with me.
And then Sasuke's dad, right?
Sasuke's dad, I'm going yeah. What was his name?
I have no idea. I heard that apparently,
Fugaku.
as someone who hasn't read the manga, apparently this guy is an absolute beast. Apparently, he really could have given Itachi a run for his money. Um, but I mean,
Cuz he had the Mangekyo Sharingan too.
yeah. So I'd put him where at irrelevant though. We barely saw him. He wasn't really involved with any of the Uchiha stuff. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like it's just Itachi's dad. I mean, we didn't even fucking know his name. It was just literally okay, Itachi's dad.
Yeah, like that's the role he plays in the story. Yeah, like you said, rumor has it he's a legend, and we know that he gets the Mangekyo Sharingan, which is cool, but
Hmm.
it's not like he uses it or has like an arc or anything. So irrelevant it is for Fugaku, which I won't remember that in 10 minutes anyway.
Exactly. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, like I feel bad that there's a trash tier. You know what I mean? I feel like none of these characters are getting trash.
Maybe you're right. Might
Unless
be
you want to
trash.
throw someone in there for fun.
Yeah, Kurenai maybe.
Oh wait, no. Okay, you know what? Maybe we'll keep it. We'll keep it. We'll figure it out.
All right. Yeah.
we'll,
Next
we'll,
character. Next character is Gara. Dude, I loved Gara. I thought, especially at the prelims against Rock Lee, that was a legendary fight,
my
dude.
God,
Timeless.
bro, I missed the Psycho Gara where he like I don't people remember like before the Rock Lee fight, Gara was literally a god. Like he was literally taking 1v3ing squads and killing them without taking any damage, without them even getting close. Like on his way to the tower in the middle part, he literally got a squad, got the sand like tombstone or whatever, where like he just like crushes them in sand and like killed all three of them. Like he was literally a monster. So that leading up to then the Rock Lee fight, which then leads to like his growth, and then Gar becomes a beast, and then says to everybody like, "Oh yeah, like Naruto is my friend. Like we should rally behind him. The Five Nations should go to war with him." Like I was like, "Yo, like Gara is like the most like full circle character ever. It was amazing, creating some of the greatest moments and fight scenes in this anime. Even Gara then versus Sasuke, and then against Naruto. I mean, Gara carried the pre skip. You know what I mean? The pre time skip.
Absolutely. The hype, like his abilities and like that Psycho Gara was such a good character. We like had no idea how to
Hmm.
scale him or how powerful he was. But I think the most important thing is what you touched on. He has the best character development, maybe of anybody in Naruto.
Hmm.
He comes from like almost complete villain and a really rough upbringing to being like a really good friend to Naruto and a good leader of the Sand Village. Um, and he's even in Boruto. Like he does stick around and has a lot of impact in the story. So I would put Gaara in God tier. I was a huge fan and still am.
No, I'm 100% with you.
Hell yeah. So next will be Haku of the Mist Village. Now, timeless arc, an all-time classic. I think I speak for all of us when I say we all thought it was a girl until Zabuza calls him a he.
Yeah.
Even Naruto is like, oh yeah, he's cute or hot or whatever. He's like, yeah, right, Naruto? And then we're like, oh, oh. Huge arc, man. He had
Hmm.
a really big impact on both Sasuke and Naruto, kind of forcing them to like bond and fight for each other. They kind of took another step in their relationship during this arc, and certainly after. I would say he had really cool abilities. Obviously, he gets beat. Um, I would say decent.
I'd say decent too. So it also creates one of like the funniest moments in one of the movies. Naruto finds someone else, so you like aren't really sure they guy, they girl. You know what I mean? And Naruto doesn't want to take that chance because of the hockey situation. It was like it asked them about it, and they beat the fuck out of him. And it was like one of those moments. And like people clip it and like, yo, Naruto wasn't taking chances after Haku. Haku has him traumatized.
Very fair.
But it was also great. Haku actually believed in Naruto all the way in the beginning and said like, yo, he's gonna accomplish great things. Like he's gonna be someone one day. You can just tell by his power now. So Haku saw the diamond in the rough before anybody else did. When they come back in the war arc, having them kind of talk to Kakashi when they're like, exchanging blows and they're like kind of like caught up. They're like, oh yeah, how's that Naruto kid? And they're like, you'd be so proud. He's become quite the splendid ninja, quite a great young man, and also a great ninja. They're like, he's the boy who creates miracles. The hero of the hidden leaf. So and they're like, that's amazing to hear, and he'll become even stronger. So it was just so cool. So yeah, I put Haku in decent. I put between the two of Choji and the Raikage. Because sadly Haku
Respect.
doesn't get enough screen time, but the time that Haku had, I feel like he really took advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely with you. Decent it is. All right. Next character is the first Hokage. I think that's pretty straightforward. He's one of the most OP characters in the verse.
Mm-hmm.
Came up with a ton of like super valuable and heavy hitting stuff in Naruto. Obviously founded the Leaf Village. His lore with Madara. There's just so much. His impact in the war. Um, and just kind of the legacy he leaves, even in throughout the story before we really get to know him better at the end. I think it's an easy god tier for me.
Yeah,
For
same.
Hashirama.
Just put him right at the front. I feel like his character was very, very important to the story, very entertaining to watch. I mean, he's super funny, super badass, so goddamn strong. So yeah, he's awesome. That moment when he comes back to when he first comes back and he's like, "Oh, who's the Hokage?" And they're like your great granddaughter or whoever." And he's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Is everyone okay?" Like I kind of spoiled her.
I love how he didn't think the Leaf Village would last too. He's like, oh, whatever, 6 or 7 Hokages. Like, wow, that's amazing. It's like, dude, you didn't have any confidence?
Dude, it was just two guys by the river having a dream. You know what I mean? And it came true, and I
Yeah,
don't think they realized just how far it would come. So it was really cool to see that.
absolutely. And you're right. He had a great personality. Excellent character.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, in stark contrast to Haydn of the Akatsuki, who is our next character, I would like to put him in trash, but I don't know if I can go that far. Because he does have a couple good fights. He's like a total psycho himself. I thought his abilities were kind of cool, like with the ritual and stuff, and then like self-imposing damage. Um, yeah, but he gets smoked big time, and his death is incredibly satisfying. I really love that fight with him and Shikamaru. But I would put him towards the bottom of this list. I wouldn't say he has like a ton of relevance other than his fight with Asuma.
Yeah, see, that's like where our criteria gets all over the place. Where it's like, how do we judge people? Because like, if you're judging people by the relevance to the story, if you took them out, how impacted would it be? Well, obviously, you take him out, it's gonna be massive. Because Asuma would still be alive. We wouldn't have the scene with him Shikamaru, which was absolutely fucking amazing. When he like gets and just lights the cigarette and he's just like "fuck you" and throws it in, like, oh, still chills till
Incredible,
this
dude.
day. Um,
Yeah,
I really liked his psychotic cult because at first you think that he's just like fucking around, like what is this random guy just spewing about? But then it works. You're like, oh my god, that's real. I feel like here's the thing: if we had some like OVAs or a movie or whatever based off of how he became who he is, based on his little cult, that god, how he got his powers, legit. We'd put him in legit because it'd be a lot better. You'd have more information about the character, but like at the same time, yeah, you kind of just like he's just very boring. You know what I mean?
yeah,
For the same
I'm
reasons I
with
gave
you.
the other Katsuki dude, the blonde dude. It's just like all right, cool. I really just wasn't a fan of like seeing him in his fights. His death was satisfying, but other than that, it was just like this guy's a tool.
Yeah,
So
he really is.
are we putting him in trash or irrelevant?
I would go irrelevant just because he does have some pretty big impact on the story, but both him and Dodara have their moments in the Akatsuki, and then the
Mm-hmm.
story moves on without them pretty well. So I would go irrelevant,
Yeah, same.
put him behind Dodara, I guess.
Oh, I put him behind Sasuke's dad. I mean, yeah, Sasuke's dad.
All right, fair enough. See you, buddy. All right, I'm excited to hear your opinion on the next character. Hinata Hyuga ends up marrying our boy Naruto, so obviously a very important character. I always had a soft spot for Hinata because she was like shy and soft spoken, and she's from like the lesser branch of the family, but she's like a lot of emotional
She's from the main
impact. And
branch.
oh, she's from the main branch and Neji's from the side, right?
Yeah.
She never really like delivers any like crazy fighting moments. I mean, she has a really impactful part, obviously in the tuning exams, fighting Neji. But the scene that sticks out to me most about Hinata is when she like goes in after Pain.
I was going to say, that's
Right?
the one scene that needs to be brought up. Yes.
Arguably the most lopsided fight in anime history. It's got to be up there.
But,
But
like,
you know what?
yo, she's the one who fucking stepped in.
She loved her man. She was riding on the greatest threat at the time. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I have a lot of respect for Hinata. I would go legit.
I'd go legit, too. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd go legit. I think that she's an awesome character. I feel like, I don't know. Like again, just believed in Naruto since day one. Really looked up to him. I feel like just a very cool, kind character. I feel like they nerfed her a little bit. I feel like she should have been stronger. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I feel like she should have gotten some more love and dominated some more fights. I hate how she didn't, but at the same time, like she kind of went toe to toe with Neji. You know what I mean? Like she was holding up there for a little bit. She was important in the beginning. It was cool, like her giving Naruto her healing cream and stuff in that fight. After that, but yeah, I feel like she's an awesome character, very important character, and I feel like she was completely misused. I feel like they made her weaker than she should have been, and they didn't highlight the romance, and then they sped it up. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, instantly married. Like the romance of it was like fine up until the pain arc, because then she announces that she loves Naruto, and then nothing until the very end. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of weird. Why are you gonna have her go into this like pit pretty much in the middle of this town that's been destroyed? There's not now a fighting pit that they created from nuking the area, and then you sit there and she comes in, nearly sacrifices herself. She almost dies. Says that she loves him, trying to defend him. Only one who's doing so, and then he doesn't even like say thank you. He doesn't even like like they start going out or something like that, or like it like picks up from there. It's just completely ignored. I thought that was very stupid. So I think that she's a legit character, but could have been played way better. She could have been written way better into the story.
I totally agree with you. I think there was a lot of romance aspects that were kind of fumbled, but I'm glad they didn't overdo it in Naruto, just
Yeah.
because of like the seriousness a lot of the time and like their ages.
Like I said, I
But
thought the
Hinata,
little flirting was cool. Like when she'd get really red, they did it really well up until that part. You made it where you had that defining moment. You know what I mean? And then you just stopped.
and also Naruto never reciprocated. Like he was
Yeah.
always like really close and friendly with Hinata, but he was never like, damn, I might actually like her. You know what I mean? It was never
Yeah.
reciprocated. So I agree with you. I think she was maybe a little mishandled, but still one of the better characters overall.
Better than Asuma though, or
Um, that's a tough one. I think in terms of total impact in the story, probably not. I mean, she does have some like pretty big moments, and like she does marry Naruto, but like
that's
I
like
feel like
at the
this,
end where they like just speed through it.
yeah, and there's just not much there after the pain arc.
Yeah, I say Asuma ahead, just because, like I said, they misused her so much.
I agree. I'm good with that.
And now here, finally, one we can put in trash.
Yeah, like
A hundred
I think
percent.
like once you get to like the tuning exams and you really learn who the third Hokage is, like you assume him to be this like grandfatherly figure, like a good leader of the village and this guy that kind of looked out for Naruto and his family when no one else would or lack thereof, I guess. But that was definitely not the case. There was a lot of like mistakes and misplays by Saratobi, and I would probably put him in trash because he doesn't win any fights. He loses to Orochimaru. The village falls under him. I think even with like the intel and all the stuff they had, he doesn't answer the bell. And I feel like, as like the leader of the Leaf Village, he failed them and he definitely failed Naruto 100%.
Yeah, I mean, his fucking dad sacrifices himself, the fourth Hokage. He's like, "Hey man, all you have to do is just take care of my kid," and he throws him alone in some random house and gives him like no money per month. Like he can barely feed himself. Like there's so many clips of
Yeah.
Naruto being like, "Oh my god, I'm so hungry," but then he looks at it, little money he has left, and he's like, "Oh, can't afford to eat today." You know what I mean? Like that's fucked. The guy's the leader too. He can easily afford it. He sat there with the whole Chia situation and fumbled it. Like you're the leader, you have to be responsible for that and deal with Donzo. You know what I mean? And he didn't. I feel like he did nothing but let everyone down. And I'm pretty sure he could have stopped Orochimaru when Orochimaru first escaped the Hidden Leaf, like right in the very beginning, where he was like before he turned evil. He was like, "Oh, I think Orochimaru is experimenting on some shit he shouldn't." Went in to investigate, realized that was the case, and he could have stopped him, but hesitated and let him leave, and that's what led Orochimaru to then become like this insane criminal where no one can catch. So I feel like he didn't do a single thing right.
Yeah, and I would say trash in the aspect that he was a failure and
Mm-hmm.
failed to deliver on a lot of promises. I think he's overall a really good, well-written character. He's just easily dislikable for his lack of like I don't know what you want to call it, his lack of like efficiency and like getting shit done. As a leader, he was trash, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel comfortable putting him there.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's an easy one for me.
I'm gonna say another easy one. We got Ino Yamanaka, squad mate of Choji and Shikamaru. I'm going trash. Don't think she really has any like serious value in the story, and although she is there for the duration of Naruto, she never really has any like super impactful or emotional moments. Like the mind transfer jutsu is kind of like their whole shtick,
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't really like get any power ups or anything to make her stand out, especially after the time skip and in Shippuden. So I'm sorry, I liked you back in the day because you were blonde and had a ponytail, but
And
trash.
a ponytail. I'd put her at the end of irrelevant. You know what I mean? Just because, like, I don't think she's a bad character. She just wasn't really a character. You know what
She
I mean? Like,
probably
I'd put her ahead
defines
of
irrelevant.
Sasuke's dad. We at least knew her name.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. I know we knew her last name, but yeah, for me, she defines irrelevant. She doesn't really do anything
Mm-hmm.
impactful. All
I agree.
right, this will be a good one. Next character is what the fuck is his name? I'm just drawing a blank all of a sudden.
You got this.
Iruka Sensei.
Yeah.
Iruka Sensei. Kind of the first role model for Naruto. He's the first guy to kind of look out for him, even though he gives him a super hard time at school and Naruto's like immature and a knucklehead in the beginning of the story. Um, I think he's like firm with Naruto, but he's a really good role model and like, he buys him ramen and stuff, which you just touched on the fact that Naruto hardly had money to eat ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was like kind of the very first friend we're introduced to in the story for Naruto, and maybe friends aren't the best way to put it, but he definitely pitied Naruto and felt bad for his situation. And I think as an adult, he could kind of see why he would lash out just because his childhood sucked so bad. I would go decent. I think for all the things he kind of puts up with as a ninja, he's not really like that strong, but I think he was always kind of there for Naruto, and in the beginning, he really needed that. And then obviously, like when he pulls off the shadow clones and everything, that was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
And Iruka does go to bat for him there as well. I would put him like towards the ends of decent.
To the ends of decent. So I don't want to explain too much because I don't want this going on for too long, right? Because we're going to be a hefty video if we
True
do
that.
full breakdowns on all of them. But I gotta say this on characters like him, like I feel like a well-rounded character. Because he actually started off hating Naruto. He actually wanted to get rid of Naruto. He was kind of like, "Yo, like this kid is like a problem." All this other shit. And his his former teacher was even like, "Dude, just like ignore him. Just don't even bother." And Naruto was like, "Hey, that kind of seems like fucked up." You know what I mean? And then he kind of learns more about Naruto, and yeah, he ends up sympathizing, and it becomes like this father figure for him, this brother, and was there for a lot of tough times. I think in that way, he was a badass. Like he was a bro. Like Naruto,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I feel like he's really special to Naruto, and I feel like he's just a great dude. So I'd put him more towards the top of decent or end of legit, because I prefer him over anybody in decent, in my opinion.
Put him at the top of decent.
Yeah, I feel like he was way more impactful than them and just like a better character.
I'm with you. He was a great character too.
Especially
Definitely
because it
the
had
man.
that switch where again in the beginning he actually like fought with Naruto all the time. Was like, dude, like what the fuck? And was like really annoyed and irritated by him. But then he kind of learned about him. He's like, oh, I'm kind of being an asshole. And then he's like, yo, let's go get some ramen. You know what I mean? It was just like, yo, it was history since then. You know?
Definitely a bro. All right, top of decent for Iruka Sensei, and now we have one of the all-time goats, my personal favorite in Naruto, Itachi Uchiha.
So top of God
I
tier,
think
right? Just ran the
top of
front.
God tier,
Got it.
right in the front. Incredible story, incredible character, his abilities, his like fights as a
Mm-hmm.
ninja, all just God tier. There's nothing flawed about him as a character, I think.
And I feel like he made it really fun because of the twists in the story. You know, there were some twists in Naruto which were like the worst kept secrets ever. Like, oh my god, the fourth mystery Hokage, that magically randomly died on Naruto's birthday and had yellow hair. Wonder who he could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like Itachi really made it insane because he's a badass character that's super cool. But like the whole incident, you know what I mean, and the mystery around that was insane. You think he's this shitty terrorist, this bad guy, this evil villain, and then you learn about him like, oh fuck, like this guy's he's something, you know what I mean? Like he's special. I feel like he really made the story engaging. I feel like every time he was a part of it, it was absolutely amazing. Some badass scenes at the end there when he's like, "Oh, this jutsu's really good, but every jutsu has a flaw, and unfortunately for this one, it is me." And then he just absolutely fucks up that one, the kid who's next with the glasses. I don't know. Amazing moments, amazing fights. I wish he could have stayed around longer, but yeah, he's goaded.
As good as it gets, dude. The scene I think is like one of the coldest scenes in Naruto, where Naruto thinks it's either Sasuke or Jiraiya knocking on the door. He's like, "Oh, it must be
Oh,
Sasuke." Opens up the door and it's just Itachi standing there, and it's like Naruto's like, "Oh shit."
dude, Itachi on the chair too, just like kicked back, like not giving a fuck. Remember him versus Sasuke in the very
Dude,
beginning?
he just like fuck
Yeah,
dude,
he was just
so
like he goes like to touch at the very end, and it's like, and then it cuts over, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then it's so cool because then that ends up being the very end where he comes up and he touches his brother like that, like that's what he always used to do, and it was like, yo, it was like low key foreshadowing a little bit. And it was like, he's just fucking
hype,
crazy,
dude.
dude. Everything about Itachi just hit everything.
Dude, and last thing, the scene where he like gets jumped by Dodara and gets him in Tsukuyomi and just shows him like all those golden Buddhas and like the sunrise. And Dodara's like, "This is like the most beautiful art ever." And Itachi's like, "I know. I'm the man." Just so good. Just another one of his like many amazing moments.
Even with Orochimaru, when he first joined the Akatsuki, he was gonna attack him, and then it didn't work, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" Like, dude, Itachi was just that guy.
He was him.
Not gonna lie, I'm
Sweet.
still upset that he didn't get his own series and Boruto got one, but it's all right. It's all right. We live.
Boruto does get pretty decent, I will say.
I
It's a
know,
big
but
investment, but
imagine back in the day, Itachi, Shisui, Kakashi, the fourth Hokage. Think about how good that time was. You know what I mean? Think about how good Itachi was. That would have been such a good area for a series.
We never did get any like movie or any little mini series on that. You're right. That is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, well, there's a couple episodes I think at the end, like there's filler that kind of like touched on that, but it was like really good. It was awesome.
Heck yeah. All right. Moving on to Kabuto. So Kabuto is kind of like a big force with Orochimaru in the beginning, like post tuning exams. And then obviously the fight with Itachi, he ramps up as kind of a villain. And even with Tsunade, there's a lot of like moments for Kabuto. So I think he was pretty important
I put him
and
in
he would
trash.
yeah, I feel like if you pulled him out of the story though, like I guess you could just in theory replace him with another character. Um He's kind of diabolical. He's like the ultimate schemer as far as the villains go.
the
Maybe not the
reason
ultimate schemer.
the reason why I put him in trash is this because like I feel like he is a cool character in some regard, right? Because in the beginning he seems like it's a friend. Oh, turns out he's a spy. You know what I mean? He actually works for Orochimaru, and he's like this. He's like a little snake, but I feel like he was never his own person. He was always just some knockoff, some Walmart wannabe. You know what I mean? Like he was always mimicking somebody else. He was never truly like an actual character. You know what I mean? Because at the end, because in the beginning he's like, okay, you're just a little bitch because you're really annoying. He had some plot armor. He was able to get away real quick, and I was like, oh, dude, that's obnoxious. He fucking takes one from Naruto. Naruto learning how to use the Rasengan was on him. That was just get your ass kicked by a child. Have fun, bud. You're strong. You know what I
He
mean?
also he also like tries to hit Tsunade and Naruto just tanks it to the forehead like
Yeah.
full power. It's like, all right. He's got owned quite a few times.
And then at the end, he just becomes some like wannabe Orochimaru, and it's just like, you know what, dude? Like, I just don't think you're a good character. You know what I mean? I just like wasn't about it. I liked what they tried to do
Yeah.
with like, oh, the child that doesn't have an identity, and you know what I mean. He was always a spy and always had to like change everything. But like, I feel like they did that better with Sai. You know what I mean? It was like the same premise of an identity, but just like not as annoying.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's a villain maybe makes him annoying. I
Yeah.
would say he's trash in execution. I like his character and the way he's written, but in terms of the story, I guess he is trash. He's doesn't really, all his schemes and plots and like everything he does kind of falls apart.
Hmm.
He gets beat by Naruto, he gets beat by Itachi. He gets clowned on pretty hard in both of those instances. So definitely tough looks for him. Good character, but trash execution on his
Yeah.
part.
And now we have Kakashi.
Kashi Sensei. So obviously, I'm going God tier. I think he's one of the most important characters in Naruto. Everything about him is sick. The lead up to like his face reveal and stuff was definitely one of like the most hyped up
So
things of all
good.
time. What does Kakashi look like? The episodes where he goes to eat and like you just never see his face. Like all
Hmm.
that stuff just kind of added to like the legend that was Kakashi. Um and one of my favorite scenes is like in the beginning when he's fighting Zabuza, the very first time they run into him. Like the absolute hype intro he gets, the copycat ninja. First time he uses the Sharingan, it
Hmm.
was just like, yeah, Kakashi is legit. Because he was always kind of messing with the students and, trying to train them, and they were like way behind him. And then you see it, and it's like, oh, he's legit. He's as good as they get. So
Yeah.
love Kakashi.
In my opinion, easy fan favorite for so many reasons. His backstory is absolutely incredible. Watching him grow up, as literally we saw him from a child all the way up until present day, pretty much, and all like the different phases he's went through. Just so many goaded moments. I mean, when he died and then talked with his dad, him at the end of the war arc. I mean, there's not a moment where Kakashi's not the goat. You know what I mean? Like he's that guy. And in my opinion, I'm actually putting him at the top of God tier. I don't know if you agree
Yeah.
because like for me a big difference between him and Itachi is one we got way more information but like just like such a well-rounded character, you know what I mean, just like so many incredible scenes, such a great person, and one of those people that we were kind of talking about before where Naruto had a lot of people where like some characters will teach you how to grow up, like they were like a father to you, like an older brother to you. They showed you like what you got to be, Kakashi was one of them. Like that scene where Sasuke's throwing a fucking temper tantrum, right? And he's leaving the village and he's crying about it. He's like, you know what? How about if I took everyone you loved and killed them? How would you feel then? And with a fucking smile, he said, all the people you're talking about are already dead. You know what I
It's like,
mean? Like, that's
and like
someone who bent but never broke. Just damn.
That's a perfect way to put it. That's a huge scene. And like
Hmm.
Sasuke doesn't understand at the time when he says that. And like as we get more information about it, it's like, damn, Kakashi ended up still being a really good leader, great sensei, and like a good person overall, despite all the stuff that he went through, especially as a kid. So yeah, you're right. Absolutely perfect. There's no point in the story where he's not just the GOAT.
Exactly. Like he just bodies.
Also, one of my favorite fights in Naruto is with our next character, Kakazu of the
Ooh.
Akatsuki. That was a really good fight. Kakazu was sick. I would put him in decent. I mean, I feel like I guess you could make the argument that he's irrelevant. I think he lasts a little longer and has a little more to offer than Dodara and Hidan. Um, he's got all the different elements, and like it takes Naruto and Kakashi like a whole slew of like new abilities. That's kind of when
Hmm.
Naruto first masters
Oh.
Rasen Shuriken. Like that for me, like that whole
Hmm.
fight was really cool and very impactful too, just because like of what they went through. And I feel like the animation step up in that fight was crazy. So maybe I'm a little biased there, but I think Kakazu had some really good moments, despite kind of being in that same time frame where he had like one arc he was a part of. I would put him towards the back of decent.
Yeah. Okay. I put him at the back of decent. Yeah. You said it. Some great fights. He was solid. I could see him in irrelevant, but at the same time, yeah, I could see him in decent. Because the Rashawn Jurgen was absolutely fucking amazing. You know,
Legendary.
yeah, when Naruto came in there, dude, it was just. And I don't know if he mastered it at that time because he almost lost his arm doing that, right? Because the
Yeah,
chakra
that's
like
the
shards kept going into his arm or whatever, like the wind shards or whatever.
that's that's the first time he actually pulls it off, right?
Yeah,
I know
it's
it's
the
the
first
first
time
time
we
he
see
uses it
it.
in battle. Yeah, that's like the first time he pulls it out. So for me, that was like a huge moment.
Yeah, so that's why I could see him in like decent. Like, all right, you made your case for that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next character. Do you remember this guy?
Yeah,
Kankuro of the Sand Village.
he's
So
the Sand Village's Choji.
yeah, I'm gonna go trash. He doesn't really ever
Oh,
have like I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I'm like misremembering some of his parts in Shippuden, but he was basically for me like a budget Sasori. Especially once you meet Sasori, like my stocks for him went down. But either trash or irrelevant. I was never a big Kankuro fan.
damn, I like kind of liked him, so like I'll put him at like the back of irrelevant. But you're right, he is like a
Fair.
yeah, like you hit it right on the head. He is like the knockoff Sasori. All right, yeah, I'm down with that.
No, no hate, just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I don't disagree.
All right, next, I'm interested to hear how you feel. Kiba.
I love Kiba.
He was such a cool character, and like that moment where he fights Naruto in the prelims, like
Hmm.
talked so much trash, dude. That was such a good fight. Like you're obviously rooting for Naruto, but it's like, how's he gonna beat this dude? I don't know where I would put him. Maybe at the back of decent, because he definitely hangs around and he has some pretty good moments, especially in Shippuden. Um,
I put him behind Aruka for decent because I feel like Kiba was like his bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like someone who like
it,
just didn't give a fuck, very like hung out. I feel like he was a great character. His fights are awesome. I thought he was a very cool character that didn't age well because as he kind of grew, he like as the time went on, he never grew. You know what I mean? He was a character that never got stronger. Naruto ends up passing his record, his for the race that they always did, and they timed themselves. And Kiba was always
yeah,
number one, two, three, four, and then Naruto ends up beating him. And that kind of goes to show where Kiba's like, oh shit, like Naruto's really growing and training and working, but Kiba never has that jump. He never has that spike in power. Yeah, and then that's the reason why it also pissed me off that he said he wants to be the Hokage at the end. Like, bro, you've done nothing to even say those words. When everyone decided that they wanted to be the Hokage at the end of the series, I was like, fuck you guys. Like that, I wish they didn't do that. But I feel like Kiba was an absolute homie. I feel like yeah, decent.
that works for me. You're right. I think maybe that's part on the author for not, you can only have so many badass characters and so
Yeah.
many strong characters. He never really kept pace with the main cast of
Hmm.
like Naruto and Sasuke and all them. So he did end up being a homie and like he was always a cool character. But you're right, he never kind of took the next step or two forward. So decent's good with me.
Yeah, and now Killer B.
Killer B was an awesome character. I would say His impact in the story, I would say, is probably God tier because if he doesn't train Naruto to master his Nine Tails chakra, I don't know who would. He doesn't really have any relationship with any Jinchuriki or
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what you would call them, hosts in English. It's a far easier word to say. I guess
Jinchurikis?
Gaara, yeah, I guess Gaara, like him and Gaara were close, but he loses Shukaku before any of that training takes place. And I never really pinned Gaara to be anywhere close to like a master or close with his,
Mm-hmm.
close with the tailed beast. So I don't think Gaara could have ever trained him. So I would say, abilities aside, he's a really great fighter and he has a ton of impact. Obviously, he can use like the tailed beast ball. I would have to give Killer Bee overall like a god tier
I
rating.
completely agree and for all those reasons, but where would we put him? I kind of have him right now above Donzo.
Above Donzo. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Because he wasn't
Yeah.
in the anime for that long, so you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard because there is like if he had more time, he'd definitely be higher up. Like more time in
Yeah.
the anime.
And that's like some of the theme with some of these characters. They don't really have a ton of episodes, but their impact could still be really good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Kisame Hoshigaki of the Mist Village, well, the
Mm-hmm.
Akatsuki. I loved him. I thought he was a great character. He had some really cool scenes with Itachi, and I think they really embodied that work partnership. Like
Mm-hmm.
they had mutual respect for each other through their strength. And like we do get that scene of them kind of fighting initially because he wants to test out Itachi and he kind of holds his own in the beginning. He's definitely no pushover.
Yeah, I agree.
His fight with Mike Guy is a top tier fight for me. He's got some really cool abilities. Samehada, his sword, it's like living, very cool. There was just a lot of really cool things about Kisame, and I think for a legendary character like Itachi, he was a really good complement. He was a great partner for him. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say legit for me.
I have
Probably,
him behind at the back of legit.
yeah, because he doesn't maybe have enough emotional or story impact, but he's definitely an important
Mm-hmm.
character. And if you took him out, there'd be some holes for sure in
Yeah,
the
and I think
story.
he was cool. Yeah, and his fights were always really good.
He kept it a buck at the end too. When he loses, he was tough. You know what I mean? He was gracious. I thought that was cool.
I agree. I agree. He was a pretty awesome guy.
All right, next character, Conan of the
Okay,
Akatsuki.
I absolutely love her.
It's
Like I
y-
absolutely love her.
she gets done so dirty. I feel like of all the excuse me, of all the plot armor people
Hmm.
face, I think she maybe has one of the worst death or defeats, whatever you want to call it. I mean, she does die, but
I thought she
just
had him. I really did. Like that was so fucking cool. Like amazing.
I feel like it's really tough to place her because she doesn't really have that much time in the story. Like her abilities are super sick. Obviously, she's like waifu material, but I felt like she got done really dirty in that fight. I thought she had it. She ends up losing, but I still think she was a really sick character.
I
So,
actually had her originally kind of like god tier. Like kind of behind
I would
Kakashi and Itachi because she's got the waifu material. It was awesome seeing her entire story. She's trained by Jiraiya, seeing all of them, those war orphans growing up, getting stronger, their story, starting the rebellion, watching them fight, watching how everything just went absolutely downhill, then to her versus Jiraiya, and then her whole scene at the end and how she ends up kind of turning good as well. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of character development there. I feel like she's fucking badass. Sometimes it's hard to write like an amazing, strong female character, and I feel like she definitely was one. You know what I mean? I feel like she just was just powerful. You know what I mean? I feel like she was a very good character, well rounded, and yeah, I feel like she just checked a lot of boxes. I feel like it would kind of suck if she wasn't in the anime. You know what I mean? It would definitely miss a little bit.
I'm definitely with you. I think she was one of the better characters. I would probably go legit. I mean,
Legit.
I feel like if you look at God tier, I'd probably put her ahead of Donzo, and I feel like she is in front of like the legit people in terms of like skill and like her backstory was really sick. I didn't really think of that, so I'd put her maybe at the back of that, back of
Okay.
God tier in front of
So in
Donzo.
front of Donzo, okay, I'm down with that. Because the thing is too is that like I feel like she is a big character for the community. I feel like a lot of people really love her. You know what I mean?
And
Because
like
that
that
fight was
unanimous,
sick.
yeah, and that unanimous feeling of like, oh, she got done dirty, plot
Hmm.
armor, like she should have won type thing. That kind of makes you love a character too, and like,
Yeah.
life's not fair. Well, neither is the manga. You know what I mean? And neither's the anime.
Here's
So
the fuck.
very relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a very cool character. All right, and in contrast, we have Kurenai
The
Sensei.
person we all thought was an Uchiha.
Yeah, for many, many episodes, and she
Good
just
200 episodes.
one of her like defining moments for me is she like sees Itachi when we are first introduced to
Hmm.
Sasuke's brother. She's like, I'm gonna go get this guy. I'm gonna take down one of the most wanted ninja in the world. And she
Yeah.
just absolutely gets clowned on. I would say,
She tries to do it with Genjutsu too. Like, how stupid are you? He is the god of Genjutsu, and you're like, yeah, I got this.
yeah, I forgot that's her shtick too. She's like a genjutsu
Hmm.
user, which in the world of Naruto, if you're not Uchiha, is not a very good strategy. So
Hmm.
I would put her I'd put her in trash or the very back of irrelevant 'cause she has like no feats at all.
Uh, I agree. I put her behind Ino.
Behind Ino, irrelevancy.
Yeah, sadly. But then we have Madara. See, Madara, okay, guys here, but like where? We have a good
Very
cast
good
here.
point.
I put him definitely above Gara. So where in the top four does he fit?
I would leave him there. Whoops. I would put him behind Hashirama just because of both the times they fought felt like Hashirama won, kind of like gives him, like little bro status. And I don't think he had, especially early on in the story, as much value or impact as somebody like Kakashi or Itachi.
Yeah.
And Itachi even comes back at the end to have some really great scenes. That's not to detract from how badass and like truly gifted, Madara is. He's
Hmm.
obviously a genius, but I would put him in that like number 4 spot in God tier because I don't think just I wouldn't be able to put him ahead of the first Hokage.
Yeah, and I hate how Madara was like so like fighting bent. You know what I mean? Like, bro couldn't just sit still and be happy. He just always had to fight. It was always pushing for it. And like there's parts where it's like, that's awesome. You know, I love that. I love when he's like, Hashirama, I've been waiting so long. Fight me now. And he's like, I'll get to you in a second. Stay there. Like, take a seat real quick. He's like, wait.
Yeah.
He's like, wait. You tell me to sit back real quick? Like, I have to wait to fight you? Like, this is bullshit. You know, I thought there were some like really good moments, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, yeah, you know, when you see the Uchihas and the well, like Hashirama and stuff, like really try to like create peace. It was really annoying how like Madara just kept wanting to fight. He just wasn't about it.
Yeah, and like I think his ultimate scheme, how he takes an Obito, there's a lot of really cool things Madara does.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, he was being manipulated too the entire time.
yeah, and then I feel like he kind of got done dirty too, but
Yeah, and at the end, I could be wrong here, but wasn't Madara like never supposed to lose? Like it was kind of like plot armor that they beat him. Like at the point where he was pretty much unstoppable.
yeah, he pulls off the infinite Tsukuyomi and basically has all his win conditions met, and then
Hmm.
Black Zetsu gets him, and it's like kind of felt like plot armor, and it kind of catapulted us into that Otsutsuki thing,
Hmm.
like the gods and all that, which I thought was kind of badass. It just didn't really feel organic to the story.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Madara is the guy that kind of like has to take the L for that to transpire.
Yeah, it's tough. He's a very cool character. There's like certain aspects of him where it's like, you just wish there was a little bit more to him. You know what I mean? Like I loved him though.
Yeah,
Absolutely loved him. Easy god tier. Like easy.
100%. All right, our next character is it the Mizukage?
Yeah, the girl with the biggie boobies. I kind of, and this is me saying it too. Girl with big tits, trash.
She is trash. She has like
Like,
very little relevance. I think
she's
she
like
gets
really
in
annoying
like
too.
yeah, she kind of has this like um what's the right word? She has this like prominence about her, like she's,
Mm-hmm.
a Kage. She only gets in like 2 or 3 fights, and they're all like group fights, and she gets folded in each of them. But she gets smoked by Madara, and they all definitely thought they could like hang.
Yeah.
But yeah, no like real emotional value. She doesn't really teach anybody anything. She just is well developed, big personality, if you will. But yeah, trash character overall. I think that's a pretty easy one.
Alright. You nailed it. You nailed it. All right. Mike guy.
Like, I gotta go God tier, dude. He's got a lot of
Absolutely.
really great moments. And at first, I was always a hater because he was a straight cornball with Kakashi. But like,
Hmm.
the more time you spend with him, you're like, nah, my guy's just always like trying to be competitive and trying to one up Kakashi. And my favorite scene, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, when he fights Madara and he's like, I, Madara, recognize you as the strongest.
Yeah. The strongest of
Goated,
them all.
dude.
It was like, dude, so good. The eight gates. It was just, uh, the also the acorn scene.
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that, dude. Ah, so
Yeah, we got
good.
to give him some redemption by putting him in God tier. Poor guy.
It's so good. Now, would you put him
Behind
above
Madara.
Gara?
Yeah,
Behind Mara? Yeah,
in between there. I just think that he was such a great character, especially for Rock Lee. You know what I mean? I feel like there's two parts of him that were amazing. You know, the part where it's just him. You know, being a badass. You know, the fight with Madara. Even with the other Akatsuki dude, what's his name? Kitsune.
Kisame, yeah.
Kasame, that was an amazing fight, you know. But then you also have the educational teaching side, you know what I mean? Where like he was like such a good sensei, you know, really helped develop Rock Lee, which was he's a beast, you know. So I feel like yeah, just a great character.
Absolutely. Easy God tier.
Yeah,
And would you put Minato, Naruto's father, the fourth Hokage, would you put him in God tier?
only cause we have Donzo. We have a couple of people in there, you know, like the back part of God tier makes me say we have to put him back there. But like, I love him, but like, we really didn't have much story about him. You know what I mean? Like very little like information. The time we do get with him is like too short. You know what I mean? Like he's a badass character, but like it's tough. You know what I mean? I wish we had more of him.
Kishimoto kind of went out of his way for a long time to keep Minato hidden from us as fans and
Mm-hmm.
never really dove into him too much. Didn't give us much lore as far as Naruto's dad's concerned. But I think his biggest and most redeeming quality as a character is his legacy. Obviously, giving birth to Naruto and like the whole Uzumaki clan thing, like it was a perfect storm. Developing the Rasengan. There's a lot of really important and heavy hitting things. He saves the Leaf Village versus Obito and the Nine Tails. Like
Mm-hmm.
he definitely has some god tier feats, but you're right, not a lot of depth because we just don't get much time with him. Very little,
Especially as
actually.
Naruto's father, you know what I mean? We see him a lot in like flashbacks as him as this badass fighter. You know, the hidden like the Flash. What was it? What was it?
The Yellow
The
Flash.
yellow Flash. That's what's the yellow Flash of the Hidden Leaf. Yeah, and they're like, oh, we have orders if we see him to run. You know what I mean? So just so badass, but like, yeah, we don't get to see him much as like Naruto's dad's aspect. You know, like that aspect of it. Except when Naruto went to like alternate reality. You know what I mean? And he was able to get his parents back. That was fucking sick. And I feel like if we just got more time of that, we got more time of minutes. Yeah, he would have been a better character. I kind of would put him around the Killer Bee Gara area.
I put him behind Killer Bee because I think Killer Bee had a lot more relevance and like a lot more to offer for Naruto. Because
Mm-hmm.
like I remember the scene with Naruto and his mom, like he's like kind of like in that dream flashback thing, like he's crying and he's like, there's so many things I wanted to ask you and like I needed help from my parents and you guys were never there, not by choice, but like, Killer Bee did a lot more of that than I think his parents did. Not that it was their fault. That's the way the story
Bro,
goes,
that's
but
also like soul crushing because like we ended up seeing his parents a little bit when he starts breaking part of the seals. You know what I mean? Minato put their
yeah.
like essence into the seals, and when she was like, "Oh, do you not know me?" He's like, "I know who you are. You're the Nine Tails trying to trick me. You're a monster, dude." That was like low key fucking heartbreaking. And then she ends up like no, like Naruto, and he ends up like realizing, and he like just breaks down. It was like, dude, such a hard hitting moment. Like stuff like that was like really cool. But that was also like our first little like bit, like our first like interactions of his parents.
Very tough scene. Just another reminder of like how tough Naruto really had it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's the GOAT, because he never like felt sorry for himself or like
Mm-hmm.
one of the few times he like really breaks down and is vulnerable.
Yeah, I completely agree.
All right, interesting character here, Nagato, the guy who introduces us to the Rinnegan, one of the most powerful, most OP um, eyes in the game.
This one's
I
really
would
really tough.
I would put him in legit. I'll just go and say legit because he's very feeble and fragile, and other than controlling the pains, he doesn't really do too much in the story. I know that's like kind of diminishing how important pain was to the story, but Nagato himself doesn't really get anything. I mean, he does show up at the end with the Edo Tensei jutsu, but I don't. When I look at the god tier list, he doesn't have the same feats or like legacy that a lot of those other character does. But for me, like if you're gonna put Danzo in there, I feel like Nagato
I think Danjo's
on.
above Nagato. Nagato had like the most broken OP eyes and did shit with them. He did fucking nothing with them, and he didn't even have them. They were given to him too, which we found out. They were Madara's eyes, weren't they? Or whose eyes were
Yeah,
they? You know what I mean? Like Madara like created them. You know what I mean? So they weren't even like his. So it was like a very weird situation, which kind of like made it cool. And like we had some like cool fight scenes, especially like when him and Itachi are end up coming back and they're together. Um,
yeah,
but it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're a legit character, but I don't think he's God tier.
yeah. I agree with you. I would say legit.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool. Like the fan service of him and Itachi fighting together was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But he should have done more with what he was given. You know, despite his physical condition, didn't really execute that well. And I feel like he was kind of like a marker, a milestone to see how far Naruto had come and how far he will go versus like other people who shared similar values with him. And, you know, he had trained with Jiraiya and all that. Kind of just shows you like how much better Naruto is. I hate to put it that way, but like that is kind of how he stands out to me in a way.
No, I agree. I agree. So I put him at the top of legit though.
Top legit, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
All right, our boy, our MC, Naruto Uzumaki. I think easy god tier.
But at the top of God tier, is he number one?
I'm gonna say yes. I think of all the people who like went through really tough trials, they had people close to them that died. You know, his parents and Jiraiya. I think there was a lot of reasons for Naruto to either, you know, be selfish or be a villain. He really perseveres, and I think of any like TV show or anime that I've watched, Naruto really does represent like the guy that everybody wants you to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
even when you fall, you get back up. Like, that shit's not that easy. Life's tough, and like Naruto's life's a lot harder than mine. But like, he always like was kept it, you know, kept it 100. Naruto's such a good character, a lot of great life lessons. And I mean, he always answers the bell. He always like comes out as badass, and you know, through this long ass story, like he's constantly powering up and training to be the strongest. And then when he runs into what's her name, Kaguya or Kagura, I forget the god lady at the very end. He uses like the reverse
Yeah.
sexy jutsu. It's just like, yo, he's still that goofy, like funny character he was in the beginning. But I would probably put Naruto at number one.
Yeah. I think that God is Kaguya. I think that's how you say her name. But yeah, he's number one. Dude, he's just the MC. It's just hard not to love him, hard not to like feel for him, root for him. You know, just the best scenes. It was just, yeah, obviously number one. It just plain and simple.
A true icon, if you will.
Yeah, like you said it perfectly. It's just it's fucking Naruto, bro.
Have you ever seen that meme or like the joke where it's like, um, Sasuke uses Chidori on that water tank on the roof, and then Naruto uses Rasengan, and Sasuke sees it, and he's like, "This is the moment Sasuke realized the show's called Naruto for a reason."
I've
It's like,
seen
yeah,
that. It's also
so
funny
good.
because they also bring up that Sasuke never talked to Hinata because of that. What was the thing? People kept touching Hinata and getting their fucking asses smoked. Because I forget who all
Yeah,
fought him. It was Neji. Neji gets his ass kicked. It was I guess the movie. I don't think I've seen the movie where they ended up getting married because I couldn't find it. I don't know where to watch it. But apparently, like he rescues her
yeah,
from somewhere and he fucks that person up. And then it's Sasuke just like, huh, now you guys know why I didn't talk to Hinata for the 750 episodes or whatever. Like he never spoke to her
that's too
once.
good.
He never interacts with her at all, and that's why. And it's like, well, they joke, but that's why. But it's like so fucking funny.
Yeah, that's great. Interesting character here, Neji Hyuga. Neji's got some like pretty good feats in the beginning. I think he's a really important tuning exam character.
Yeah.
Um, he kind of represents that elitist mentality in Naruto of like, you know, your clan, your Kekkei Genkai, and your Jutsu kind of determine your value and your strength
Mm-hmm.
in this world. And he gets beat by like Naruto, who's kind of looked at as a bum, at the time, because he doesn't have, things like Rasengan or the Nine Tails. He can use at his disposal. And that's a really good fight. I think Neji has some really good moments, especially, um, I forget who he fights in the Sasuke retrieval arc, but that was a heavy hitter for me. That really made me come around on Neji, the Sound Ninja guy,
Yeah, he
or
had those
the
like needles, right? Or was it like the spider?
the spider dude who could like find his blind spot in the
Yeah.
360 thing. That was a really cool arc. I would say Neji definitely had a handful of like really good top tier moments. I would put Neji in legit.
I'd put Neji at the back of legit. Yeah. I'd say the back of legit because he had a lot of really good moments. Him versus Naruto is, of course, awesome. Of course, at the end, too, laying down his life for Naruto was fucking insane. Didn't see that one
Heavy.
coming. His death. But, yeah. I think great fucking character. Back of legit Saw, because this legit lineup's, like, good, in my opinion.
I think so. I'm definitely happy with what we got so far.
Yeah.
Next character is Obito Uchiha.
Yeah, this one's tough.
Trickier than you would think. I mean, he has a
Mm-hmm.
ton of relevance kind of through the middle and all of the end of the story. I think there was a lot of speculation before we knew who Toby was.
Mm-hmm.
If it was Obito, kind of that Obito wasn't dead, he was alive. So I think kind of that like mystery around Obito was really cool and kind of kept, even though we hadn't been introduced to him, kind of kept his character relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say legit. I think he's got some like really impressive god tier features, but he's kept hidden from us for a really long time. And Toby is definitely a gag character, despite
I love
having
Toby,
some
though.
so good, dude. He's so funny, but like he doesn't, other than his fight with Conan, he doesn't really have any like impressive feats or fights. He's just kind of like
Mm-hmm.
does what he needs to do to get the mission accomplished. Captures the Jinchuriki with the Dara, but never really lets his guard down.
Him
He's always
versus
playing that
Kakashi though
character. It
too was also one of the best fights.
was incredible. And then
Yeah.
he teams up once he gets the sage powers. Like he
Hmm.
does some really like incredible stuff. He does have some god tier feats, but would you put him at god tier? I'd probably go like towards the top of legit.
I'd say top legit end of god tier.
He's
That
definitely,
area.
I think, more important to the story than Nagato. Yeah, I would go top of legit.
Top
I think that's
legit.
fair.
I think that's good. Yeah, that one is so tough. Like that one is
That's like the most borderline decision I feel like we've had to make so far. That's probably been the toughest.
because like I love Obito and I love Toby, but like because he's had like so many different like sides to him, it makes it really tough to judge him as a character. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's like damn, like at first we didn't really know who he was. Like, all right, little weird kid. Oh, he dies. That sucks. You know what I mean? Then it becomes Toby. And then dude, it's just like all over the place. I don't know. I really liked him. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have Danzo too high?
I don't know. I like the argument you made that like he was a true villain and not a
Yeah,
broken hero. Like he was just out there to cause issues and was like entirely selfish. I think people maybe would swap them, and I could see,
I could see
I
that.
think that's fair. Um,
But because of I guess more so the uniqueness of Danzo, we should just keep him.
I would probably swap them in hindsight. I guess that's fair. He probably does have more value in the story. But are we
Okay,
going back or are we leaving it?
oh, because
Part
like
of me wants to leave
Obito, like
it.
these broken heroes. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. Let's be honest.
And that's like a
There's so
huge theme
many.
in Naruto. There's a lot
Yeah,
of them. And like
yeah.
Danzo was just that motherfucker who just like wanted to get hit by any means necessary. He was trying to get his
You know what?
at
I'm
the
gonna
expense
keep
of
it simply
others.
because he really was the only fucking character that stayed a villain. Orochimaru turned good. Everyone turns fucking good. So the fact that one person died a piece of shit
True.
and was a piece of shit throughout the whole thing, I'm all about it. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it.
I think that was important too. All right, cool. Next character is the Tsuchikage.
Yes.
He's got
I
some really cool abilities. I think he could have been cooler if some like a more main character had his jutsu. I feel like just a trash character. He has like no W's. Kind of gets embarrassed by Sasuke. and Obito. I don't think there's really too much
I think
there.
he had like a cool scene or like a funny scene, but I think yeah, that was kind of it.
Cause and the Mizukage too. I would just kind of put him on par with her. Like,
Yeah, same.
it's not much there.
It really isn't. I'm down with that. Top of trash.
Yeah, put him top of trash.
All right, Orochimaru now.
Orochimaru is a really important character. I would go legit because I think he kind of falls off towards
I
the
hate how he
end.
turns good, and I hate his plot armor. I hate how he kept getting away, but it also fits with him being a snake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I thought that was super cool. And like he's super creepy, like that weird girl-ish costume he has in the tuning exams is really
Mm-hmm.
sick. Like I think Orochimaru had a lot more value in the first half of the story. Yeah, and he kind of turns good and I don't know, it diminished his character a little bit, but through and through he was a snake. I would put him in legit. Um
Where
maybe
though?
maybe at the back, towards the back, or behind or in front of Kisame.
I'm down with putting him in front because he was a solid villain to hate in the beginning.
Yeah, and like he obviously he teaches Sasuke a lot. Like he
Yeah,
does make Sasuke a lot stronger, and he has a lot of relevance to the story. I think at the end it kind of falters off because Orochimaru did what he wanted to do. He was always in his own game, in his own world,
hmm
um, but it didn't really fit the story, or he didn't really power up with the rest of the cast for the end. And he that really wasn't his MO either.
yeah, I agree. The Rock Lee.
Rock Lee, very important character. I feel like he was always kind of a beast. He was kind of a goofy character at first, but we all kind of grew to love him.
Yeah.
Drunken fist Rock
Oh
Lee,
my god, dude, when he gets drunk and just fuck shit up, it was so good, so funny.
amazing. I would go legit. I think he's a very legit character, and his eight gates, he's got some pretty good moments. He's not the strongest, and I think he loses some fights. He loses to Gara, even though that was an amazing fight. I would probably
Yeah, some
go
of
the
his
back of
fights was
legit.
insane.
Yeah, I would either say the top of decent or legit. But he's
I'd
also
say
like
legit for sure. The Rock Lee was a
he's like
huge staple point of Naruto. Huge.
and doesn't he's not originally part of the Sasuke squad, or is he?
No.
Yeah, and
No.
he shows up, which I thought was cool because like Rock Lee is one of the homies.
He
You know what I
actually
mean?
kind of fucks up Sasuke when they first interact. They first fight in the lobby of like the Chunin exams.
And hits him with the flying lotus almost. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
I definitely think I definitely think he's legit, for sure. I put him above Hinata, Asuma, and maybe even who's the red hair guy again?
I would put him ahead of Nagato because he has
Yeah,
a lot more
Nagato.
importance to the story. He,
Yeah,
you know, he
absolutely.
he lasts a lot longer. He's definitely up there. I'll
Here's
put
the,
him at number two.
here's the thing. Did I put the waifu up there because she's a waifu, or am I biased with that one? She should be in God tier.
I think there's a little bias there, but like, I feel like she got killed via plot armor. If she wins that fight, that's pretty much the end of the story. Naruto's over after that.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? Because like the Akatsuki falls apart, they're no longer a threat, and Obito's now dead. He loses to her. You know what I mean? Maybe you fight Madara, but he doesn't have the same dis, tools at his disposal. So Madara's kind of weakened there. I feel like she got done dirty. Maybe I would put her at like the top of legit. I think if I regraded her, but it's a good argument. Just like Danzo, I think people would probably swap him and Obito, but
Yeah.
you make a good argument, and I think it's a different take that is maybe it's a hot take, if you will.
Well, a couple of them. Alright,
Yeah,
Psy. Bro, honestly, I might have one of Psy. I kind of think he's irrelevant. I'm not a fan of him.
I I would put him in irrelevant. They like gave him room to grow and then just did nothing with him.
I put him at the top, though. And do we put him in decent? Because we do have
I
the
would say
Raikage.
last.
I put him above the Raikage. Because he
Yeah,
did have some big moments, you know what I mean? He had some really funny moments between him and Naruto when they first started fighting. I hate how much he was a piece of shit and cocky. I think his backstory was pretty good, you know, the way he was kind of an assassin. But again, he's one of the people that I feel like appeared really strong immediately and then instantly fell off. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Definitely had some cool moments. Definitely a really interesting the way he behaved when they first met him, until when he warmed up to them was pretty cool. And I feel really bad for him that he got cast aside the second that Sasuke came back. They just threw him to the side. We're gonna pretend like he doesn't exist in the anime anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which again, like some of those qualities are on the author, and they're not to say they're good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of subjective to your opinion, but totally got the backseat when Sasuke returned, which for good reason, I guess, but
Yeah. I thought his
no,
painting was
no fault of
cool.
his own.
His
Yeah,
paint,
cool
yeah, that was
abilities.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely cool with that. I put him in decent as well.
All right.
Sakura Haruno, one of our big main three Squad 7 characters.
This is where
I
we're
feel
gonna
like
have a
she
hot
was
take.
I feel like she was overhated. She's a decent character, but she kind of embodies that damsel in distress, like the female that's always kind of
Hmm.
weak, always needs saving. After her time with Tsunade, I think she is a little more viable. But the fact that she's there, it's like full Squad 7 at the end of the Shinobi War, she does not belong there. I don't think she really hangs with the main cast, even though she's put there, and we kind of see that in the Pain arc. I was never a fan of Sakura as a ninja, but like I guess as a friend, she was always kind of shitty to Naruto too. Like she liked the attention and liked being Naruto's friend, but Naruto always had a crush on her, and she like kind of played on that. I don't know. It's tough because she does have some moments, but I would say towards the top of irrelevant or decent, back of decent.
Really, I'd put her above Rock Lee and legit. I think that
Really?
Sakura is an awesome character that's overhated. I think first of all, her pre-jump fucking sucks, but I think that that was designed for her character development. You know, kind of make her not take the ninja shit seriously. She's just boy crazy, just a teenager, very helpless, but she doesn't care about fighting or training. But when she decides she wants to be a medical ninja, I feel like first of all she's perfect for both Sasuke and Naruto. I cannot imagine a different third. You know what I mean? Like she is their third, hands down. I think her being a medical ninja also is very important for those two because they're fucking idiots. Even though they're very
Yeah.
strong. So I think that her character development and then the Shippuden was very very good. I think she got super strong, and I feel like when you because they were looked at compared to the legendary Sanin, right?
Yeah.
Like she also had the what is it the 100 healings, the mark of the 100 healings or whatever. Like she was super fucking strong, not just with like physical power, but like her healing prowess was like insane. And let's not forget the entire reason why Naruto lived was because she healed him. She was the only one who can do that. Naruto would have died if it wasn't for her. So
Very true.
I don't think that there's a better third for them. I think that she's an awesome character, and I feel like everyone's hatred of her is them being like very insecure and very victimy, right? Because listen, boys, we've all had that girl that treated us like shit, that led us on, didn't appreciate us, cheated, whatever. You can't take that fucking pain and throw it and project it on some fucking child, okay? That's what I feel like the
Yeah.
problem with Sakura was, is that they projected that shit because, like, do you really think that Naruto was saving her life all those times just for a thank you? Just so she'd fall in love? No, he saved tons of people without anything in return. He saved the village without anything in return. A village that treated him like fucking dog shit. You know what I mean? The only, like, I feel like that he can't be faulted for that. Like she can't be faulted for that. Like and she does end up realizing it and does end up being a better friend later on. Now there is that one scene that everyone hates too, where she pretends to love him because Sai comes to her and is like, "Hey, you're like made a promise with him and it's eating him alive. Like it's gonna kill him." And she's like, "Oh yeah, like I don't love Sasuke. Like I love you. Like let's just leave." I think that yeah, I can understand why you hate her for that. I can understand why that scene
Yeah.
alone makes her really fucking hate it. But I think her intention was just to try to keep Naruto safe. You know what I mean? Did she go about it the wrong way? Yeah, but the intention was there, and she's what 14, 15 years old. At 15, I was a fucking dipshit, so I can be a little bit more lenient. I think that she's super strong. She's very misunderstood and overhated because again, it's just I feel like she's the epitome, the tumor of everyone's insecurities and trauma from dealing with certain girls. So I feel like she's above Rock Lee. You know what I mean? But where should we put her? Where should we put her? Because we got to find some middle ground here, and it's gonna be hard to do.
I think that's fair. She's definitely legit. I guess you're
I'm
kind of
down
right.
putting her
She's the
towards
perfect
the end,
complement.
maybe.
Yeah, that's cool. I would maybe ahead of Kisame, because like as a healer, she is really important to Squad 7, and
Hmm.
she can't be like equal on par with like Sasuke and Naruto just because of their importance to the world and like kind of the story. So yeah, she's definitely legit. She definitely has a lot of moments where like she kind of did bail them out, or she like held up her end as the third in the squad from
Yeah.
beginning to end. So yeah, legit's fair. I'd put her, I guess, behind Orochimaru,
I think that they
or
went a
maybe in
little
front
too
of.
crazy in front of.
Maybe, yeah, somewhere around there.
I'll keep her behind just to not piss everyone off too much because I know everyone wants to put her in trash. I know that's where she's most likely going
Yeah,
to go. We can look at the community one after this too and see, and I feel like that's where she's going to be. But what's it called? Yeah, I feel like her healing abilities was absolutely insane, and like I feel like that wasn't stressed enough of how hard it is to get to that point. And I feel like they went a little too overboard with making her useless before pre-jump. Because I do agree with everybody. Pre-jump, she absolutely was the most useless character ever. She did fucking nothing. She was absolutely awful. But I feel like that was for her character development. For the, oh, I realize I gotta get stronger. These two guys are working super hard, becoming super strong. I need to keep up. You know what I mean? I just wish that she got to that realization sooner. You know, I feel like that would have been a lot better, and people wouldn't
that's
be
definitely
as
fair.
upset because the pre-jump was still like what 200 episodes. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
200 episodes of her being fucking useless, and then people just keep that idea, that first impression of her.
Nah, you're definitely right. I think she is overhated, but she's still like a good character, and like she does have a lot of development. So I think that's worth giving her credit for too.
Hmm.
All right. So next is Sasori of the Akatsuki. I really liked him as a character because I thought he was cool and I thought the puppets were badass, and he's like a really like stronger character than compared to Kankuro, who has kind of the same abilities per se.
Hmm.
Sasori was strong, but he ends up getting folded by Granny Chio and Sakura.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to not say he's irrelevant. He doesn't really make any impact, in the Shinobi War. I would say somewhere in irrelevant. He was a cool character, but we don't really get too much of him, and yeah, it's just not a very deep arc.
I feel that. I agree.
Where in
Sasuke though,
irrelevant?
I put him as second to top because I thought he was still
Yeah,
like a good character. I feel like his fight scenes were absolutely fucking awesome. I think the twist of him being a puppet was fucking sick too. You know,
very
his
cool.
backstory was very cool. There's a lot interesting about him. But yeah, I mean, we meet him and then he instantly gets folded. You know, so that's a little rough.
So for Sasuke Uchiha, kind of
Hmm.
our Deuteronogonist, or however you say that word, like the second main character.
Yeah.
I love Sasuke, easy god tier. I think his journey is comparable to Naruto's if you kind of went about it the wrong way. You know what I mean? You want to make a difference and, kind of change things. Naruto had a better attitude about it and, quote unquote, use the power of friendship to
Yeah.
build strength and learn from others. And Sasuke just wanted to take and kind of take a more selfish approach.
Just wanted to kill
Obviously,
his
by the
brother.
yeah, just that was all that he cared about. And, for good reasons. I'd be a little bitter too. I think Sasuke is probably the strongest in the story by the end of the verse compared to other than Naruto.
Hmm.
There's nobody else that can really take Sasuke on. So for me, he's an easy god tier. I would put him ahead of Itachi, but I don't know about Kakashi. Because I think Kakashi had a lot more emotional moments and he was like a good father figure, and I think that mattered more to both Naruto and Sasuke, who didn't have fathers in the
Yeah.
story.
I
I
actually
would
put
put
him
Sasuke third.
I actually had him behind Itachi, but I like where you're coming at here. You're right. Like Sasuke to me, I hate him as like I hate him when he's compared to as like Naruto's best friend because they're not like they did not portray that
Yeah,
at all. They did really poor job of doing that. But Sasuke as an individual character, oh amazing. Love him. Love the design. Love everything about him. Really good. Super strong. Badass. Some amazing scenes. Extremely plot armor based, but it's fucking shown in anime, boys. I mean, it exists. You know what I mean? It's there, and he wields it well. So yeah, I'm good with third. Absolutely.
heck yeah, Sasuke rocks. Next character is one of my favorite, Shikamaru. I kind of want to go god tier because I think
Oh,
Shikamaru has a
I'm gonna
lot
go
of
God
like
tier.
important moments in the show. I think he's the first friend that Naruto has that's in his class, like his age. Shikamaru's just I like his demeanor's really funny and like he was kind of a funny character the whole way through,
Mm-hmm.
but he was really important in the Sasuke retrieval arc. He's by far the smartest ninja on this list, I think. He's up there with like Kakashi and Itachi as far as IQ goes.
Truly
Um,
Naruto's best friend.
Yeah, and like he was always there for Naruto, and
Mm-hmm.
especially when they were kids, he was like a good friend to him. And we see Shikaku, his dad, kind of tell him like, be a good friend, be there for him. You know what I mean? The rumors aren't all true, and that always held a lot of like value with me. 'Cause Shikamaru's a good dude, even though he comes off as being like the lazy slacker who can't be
Yeah.
bothered. Where would I put him in God tier? I would probably put him ahead of Gara
I put him
or
ahead
Might
of
Guy.
Mike Guy because I feel like when we talk about some amazing scenes too, especially when it comes to emotion, like he's at the center of it. There was some fucking crazy emotional scenes, some badass scenes. Him, throwing the lighter. There's a lot of good stuff. I feel like he was an awesome character because he checked off a lot of boxes. You know what I mean? Not only is he Naruto's best friend, not only does he have like a lot of the emotional side of the anime, but his some really good fights. Um, and dude, an absolute genius. He's super funny as well. Him joking around and a lot of the things he was saying and doing was absolutely really funny. Like Shikamaru is easily one of my favorite characters. Just yeah, amazing. He carried, what is it, Team 10 was his team.
I could never keep the team straight. He was either team 9 or 10. I think you're right.
Yeah, but absolutely loved him. Yeah, easy god tier for me, and I put him above my guy for that because I feel like he had more relevance because he was closer to Naruto. So he naturally has more of an impact on the story.
100%. I'm right with you. I'm glad you like Shikamaru because he was always one of my favorites.
Yeah, absolutely loved him. Would still love him.
All right. Uh, Shino Aburame. I'm going trash. He had like a couple early moments where he was like a relevant ninja, but I would say kind of trash. Like he really just doesn't hold up in Shippuden
Yeah, I couldn't care less about
story.
him. It was just like I'm
So,
down with that.
arguably the most forgettable character in Naruto.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say him and Tamari are probably, but even Tamari, she gets married to Shikamaru. Like that's cooler than anything Shino ever did.
Wait, so you would have put her in trash too? I would put her more in decent
She's like stronger. I would have to kind of go back and like look at some
or
of her fights, but I
irrelevant.
remember like her wind scythe was kind of strong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm putting Shino very bottom, last and trash.
Last in trash? Damn. All right. I'll
I mean,
agree
that
with
might
it.
be a little biased. Like I don't, he had more to offer in the story than maybe the Mizukage, but yeah, dude's trash. He doesn't do anything.
I'm fine with it. I'm good.
All right. Shisui Uchiha, kind of a tricky one.
Very tricky because like obviously he's that god tier type character, except we never see anything about him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's a
So
lot
it
of like
feels very
lore.
difficult to put him into god tier. I feel like he's an absolute beast, badass, very sick design, but like you can't put him in god tier simply because the impact and the weight that these guys carry is just so much more than what he has. Um, I feel like if you read the manga and you know more about the stuff behind the scenes, you'd like him a lot more, and he's more important there because we find him out more about him. You know what I mean? Um, but based on just anime, I feel like he's got to be somewhere in like the middle of legit.
I would say legit too. Maybe behind Sakura or behind Kisan, or maybe at the end of legit, because all of them have like a lot more relevance in the story in the anime that we watched.
If we
But
put him
like the
behind
lore,
Sakura, people might actually kill us.
I mean, like his abilities as a ninja, it's tough because like as a ninja, he's god tier. But like if you're an anime only, you don't really get much of Shisui except what we hear at the end and like kind of like the legends about him being,
Yeah,
another genius Uchiha. I mean, I would say as a ninja, definitely god tier, but overall in like the Naruto anime, just kind of like decent because we don't really get any anime scenes on him. But
yeah.
I guess to compromise, I would put him in legit. But do we put him in front of Sakura? I mean, she did. There was like more effort in Sakura's character from the author,
No, no,
and
you're right. If we're talking about like more important to like to the story and stuff, like yeah, like in that aspect, you got to put Sakura above him. But like, what a beast of a character. I'll
yes.
put him right behind her.
All right, cool. I feel like that's fair. It's a good way to compromise because it's kind of a tricky one.
Yeah.
All right, Tamari. So I was hating on Tamari just a moment ago. As a ninja, she's definitely stronger than I would give her credit for.
I feel
Like,
like she gets better in Boruto because I feel like her as a wife was just more like funnier scenes. I've seen a lot of clips, and I feel like that she's just like really funny at that point. And like at the end, she's like, I don't know, she becomes more like outgoing. I guess she talks a lot more and it's like jokes around a lot more with people and like friendlier. Her flirting with Shikamaru is awesome, but yeah, we don't really see her fight all that much. I mean, the Sand Crew kind of just dips after the beginning. They have a very strong entrance, and then it's just kind of Gara. You know what I mean?
You're
Um,
definitely right.
so I could
I
see her
feel
in
like
decent or
yeah, I was gonna say irrelevant's kind of like a little harsh. I would put her in the very end of decent.
yeah, I agree.
All right, 10-10.
The most
This
done dirty character. I fucking love Tenten. Absolutely adore
10
Tenten.
10 was super cool, and I thought her abilities were unique, but like not out of this world. Like they were very ninja-like. I felt like 10 had a lot more potential than she was ever given in like OG Naruto and in Shippuden. She was a
Hmm.
cool character that kind of got wasted in a way.
Absolutely. She got like no attention. Not did nothing in fights. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
as much as I love Tenten, she's probably more at the end of decent or irrelevant.
I would put her in irrelevant. I would put her probably in. Would you? I would say in, behind Anko or behind Ino.
I put behind Anko.
All right, cool. Now, the second Hokage is our next character. Very important in the lore, and as far as like ninjutsu goes,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's definitely one of the like better ninja of all time. He's definitely a god tier ninja, but like his importance in the story, I don't know if it's god tier. I would say it's more legit.
Yeah, I'd
He
say
was
more
definitely
legit.
like definitely the OG Uchiha hater. You know, being the second Hokage, I think is a really big feat. But I would leave him somewhere in the upper part of legit, or the back part, or upper middle maybe of legit,
Where are you thinking?
maybe in front of Orochimaru.
I can see it only because of the war arc. He was a big part of that. And it also showed just how smart he is too, combat wise. Like he's very intelligent in battle. Um,
Yeah,
I could go with that. I could go with that.
where would you put him if you had a choice?
I have no idea. I feel like he's a I don't know, such a strong character that needs to be put into God tier. But if you look at it from that point, like the relevancy of like the story and shit, like the bottom of legit. You know what I mean? But it feels weird seeing him there. You know what I mean?
I but I would say the bottom of legit I think is like a probably a good middle ground because he doesn't have the impact in the story. People like Obito, Rock Lee, Asuma,
Yeah,
Hinata, like they don't have like the emotional value. He's just like a ninja of all time. So I
yeah.
think the end of legit is fair. End of legit is fair.
Wait, all the way to the end, or keeping him where we had him above Orochimaru?
Would you put him above Orochimaru?
I don't know. It's tough because he does a lot more at the end. You know what I mean? Like in the war arc. You know, he is a big part of that. It's definitely tough. I put him right above Shisui, I guess.
Yeah. All right, that's cool.
Because
Above
him and
Shisui.
Shisui are kind of in the same boat, except he got his second Hokage got more time. You know what I mean? We saw more fights of his.
Yeah, that's perfect. Honestly, good, good move. All right, Tsunade, Lady Tsunade. This is a tricky one of the legendary Sanin. She's definitely one of the better ninja we meet. Legendary healer. She ends up taking over as Leaf Village Hokage. That's a pretty big
Hmm.
feat. She is the great or great great granddaughter of the first Hokage. I would probably put her in God tier. She might not be the strongest or greatest ninja, but I think she has a lot of relevance to the story, and she's a very big part of OG Naruto's kind of like right before the time skip, Naruto's first kind of like major power up.
Yeah.
I think Tsunade has a lot of relevance in the story, and even in like Shippuden and Boruto, she's cool. You know what I mean? I think she's got good, um, like a good balance of like story and being a ninja. You know what I mean? She's cool. I mean, God tier might be too much, but legit, I don't know. It's tricky.
I don't know if you meant to do that.
But yeah, what are you laughing
You're
at?
like, oh yeah, she's good balance.
Oh no! I didn't mean to, but yes, very big personality.
I mean, that was a part of the story. What is it? 106 was the joke with that? You're frozen.
I don't remember. I do remember.
Okay,
She
you're
definitely has
back.
like a lot of like. There's oh shit. There's definitely like a lot of romance surrounding Tsunade, which is kind of funny. And I do wish that Jiraiya would have told her how he felt in the beginning,
Yeah,
or at the end. I mean,
I feel like she's really good. She's a strong character, badass. Her whole interaction with when she starts to become Hokage in the beginning when they go out looking for her is awesome. Huge impact, yeah. I definitely think she's a great character. Um, I have her behind Minato.
Yeah, that's a fair spot.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Good pick. Uh, what is this guy's name? Yamato.
Yeah.
He like has his spot in the story. The wood jutsu user, I guess he's made from Hashirama cells,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. He was in
He's
Orochimaru
cool, but
experiment.
yeah, that's right. He's cool and like has some relevance in the story, but I feel like he falls off the further you get into it, and it's not really that important. He kind of helps teach and train Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
He more like keeps him in check from the Nine Tails energy or the chakra breaking out. I don't want to say irrelevant. I would put him at the back of decent or
The
like towards the
back at
top.
decent.
Yeah,
I thought he was a huge impact when he did come in. So that's why I have him at the second to the top for decent.
I guess that's fair. He has like a really really strong start, but then he falls off pretty quickly. And like
Yeah.
him teaching Naruto about wind chakra and like kind of getting into the Rasengan and Rasen
Mm-hmm.
Shuriken stuff is like really important in Shippuden Naruto's development. So yeah, I guess towards the top of decent is good. He falls off super hard though,
Yeah, he
unfortunately.
does.
But like you can't keep all these characters relevant as an author.
Especially for that long.
All right, we'll do decent for Yamato. Our boy Zabuza.
I have him in God tier at the
I
very
would
end.
I would say the last in God tier. Maybe that's a little fan servicey, but like amazing voice actor, both dub and sub. The
Yep.
connection with Kakashi, the
The
emotional moment where he's crying. Like there's
mm-hmm.
just so much to love about Zabuza, who's literally one of the like seven ruthless swordsmen of the mist.
Yeah.
Like, he ends up being like a really great emotional character, and it's the first like time in Naruto you're like, damn, the villain, like,
Very
I kind of
impactful
feel
in my
bad
opinion.
for him.
Yeah. Like he sets the stage perfectly. Badass villain, great design, great fight style, awesome fights, the emotional moments, it's just so well rounded. He was the Kakashi said that he was the best person for Naruto to first take on, right? Naruto's first like real enemy. And I feel like he
Very
was
well
the
said.
greatest first enemy for us to experience in Naruto too. You know what I mean? He is a perfect, intro to the series, and even him coming back in the war arc again was just emotional. It was awesome. So definitely think God tier for that. Like he set it all up. You know what I mean? He set the stage and just delivered.
I think that's where a lot of us fell in love with Naruto. That the bridge arc, the Mist
Hmm.
Village arc. Yeah, totally with you. God tier character, amazing voice actors. I can still hear it.
Yeah,
Zetsu. Our second to last character is Zetsu.
gonna be a
Now
tough
this
one
is
in
a
my opinion because I couldn't care less
tricky
about him.
one. Very forgettable and has extremely low like screen time. He's just kind of a background schemer. But at the very end of the story, he does, hit hard, but he really only has 1 feet. He's Kaguya's kind of henchman, if you will. It's tough because I feel like he's irrelevant for the entirety of the story
I put him kind of in
until the
trash
very
because of
end.
that. Because I just also couldn't care. I feel like when you have villains in Naruto, he just sucks. Like when you talk about like who are the best villains, like he's just not there. He wasn't some broken hero. Didn't have some good story. Wasn't a cool design. Not a cool fight style. He's just like
Yeah, trash execution. I would put him in trash just because of kind of the way he was done, and his impact on the end of the story is one of my bigger critiques about Naruto.
yeah. It should have been better
Where would you put him in trash?
in the top.
At the top of trash.
Yeah.
Top trash. And then a very easy one for us to close out on, a fan favorite, the lovable Jiraiya Sensei.
Yeah, but where do we put him in God tier? Definitely top five. But where in the top five?
I have him ahead of the first Hokage for sure. I feel like he should be ahead of Itachi because of his relationship to Naruto and his guidance for
I
Naruto.
completely agree.
Personally, the Uchiha stuff I really like, but I think Jiraiya,
I might have even put him
I would
above Sasuke.
I'm gonna say number three. I don't think he was as important as Kakashi, but he knows what he's getting into in the pain fight. He has the most
Mm-hmm.
emotional death in Naruto. I do think Kakashi was more important to the overall Naruto story, but I would put him ahead of Sasuke, our number 3 in God tier.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think he's absolutely amazing. You probably can't see it in the back, but like right there, that picture. Well, first of all, that little thing's a painting of Kakashi. It's fucking awesome.
So
But
cool.
then that's Rengoku's autograph. Above that is Jiraiya. I met Jiraiya's voice actor, fucking awesome. I was like, dude, I gotta get it. You know what I mean? Because Jiraiya was just one of those characters where I was like, fuck, man, so cool, so funny. In the beginning, you're like, dude, this guy's kind of like weird. He really is like the pervy sage. He's just kind of like what is this guy? But then you just grow to love him, dude. He's just a great father figure for Naruto. Great moments, the way he was just teaching him. He was just I don't know, dude. He's just Jiraiya, man. Some really hard hitting scenes right before he leaves for the Rain Village. That was super emotional. His death. I mean, even in death, him coming and giving clues to the identity. That was absolutely insane. It's just yeah. Top three is easy. Top three for Jiraiya is easy. And I can see some people have been putting him at number two.
Yeah, you could easily make that argument. I think for me personally,
Yeah,
Kakashi has a
same.
little more impact on the story, but Jiraiya was a better figure for Naruto. And at the time of Jiraiya's introduction, he gives us a lot to the story about the Nine Tails, the Rasengan training, and like the Sage training. He like really helps the story open up into what made Naruto so great.
Yeah,
So I'll put him at 3, but very tough argument for number 2.
I absolutely agree.
All
All
right,
right,
dude. Good shit. I
so
feel very good about this list.
yeah, I feel good about it too. Should we look at the community ranks?
Yeah.
All right, we're looking at the community ranks, guys. Let us know down in the comments below. Where do you agree with us? Where do you not agree with us? Yeah, it's tough because again, what criteria do you use to kind of pick these? But let's look at the community ranks. God, oh, this is. I fucking knew Sakura would be low, but I'm glad that one dude is in trash as well.
I could see how you think Donzo's a trash character, but I like the argument you made and like the impact it had on
Mm-hmm.
the story. I feel like kind of right on the money with some of ours. Like decent and irrelevant can kind of go either way. Hashirama, I don't feel like is decent. I feel like he's like the greatest ninja of all time. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? His impact in the story. But like those are just subjective kind of opinions. I feel like we're really close. I feel like the community doesn't give enough love to Sasuke. Sasuke's just as important as like Mike Guy is in the story.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our is kind of agree, except for certain areas. Like trash and irrelevant are pretty much the exact same for us, except just different order. God tier and legit again like are like the same type of characters. It's just like the individual rankings per se. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yeah, I
they're
feel
all
like
pretty
we
around there.
we kind of like took these are other people, so I'm like, who has Hyde that high? um, but yeah, I feel like our list is pretty spot on with the community. I think there's things you could like change or adapt, but pretty straightforward. I think we did a good job here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought it was
I think we
awesome.
cooked.
Yeah, and listen, it was fun. We hope you guys enjoyed. Again, let us know where you agree with us, where you disagree with us, and let's do more tier lists because they are a blast. It's so funny. I was streaming right before this, so I'm sorry if I seem tired. Hey, if you want to come hang out, link in the description. Just saying, just saying. But yeah, I'm a little tired. That's why I got a little you at the end. Right before I was about to like end stream like towards the end, but buddy brought up he's like yo, when are we gonna do another tier list on stream, because we've done one before and it was kind of a mess. I did like a big stream, so we're like, oh, let's just do it while I get food and it'd be fun. And I was like, dude, that's so funny it's brought up. So I'm like, I'm about to record a video based on the tier list. And I even said, I'm like, yo, like if you guys want, we can do the tier list right now and we can kind of compare it when I do the video. But none of them watch Naruto, so I was like, so tier lists are fun,
Gotta
dude.
watch Naruto.
Dude, I told him like,
Dude,
you guys gotta watch
this was
it.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you first brought it up, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Naruto's a really relatable and kind of easy one to do. But I would love to do another couple soon. I
dude,
feel like we could
they're
come up
so
with
much
quite a few.
fun. Yeah, they're so much fun, and I'm like, I'm definitely down to do them. The good thing is too, is asking Chad. I'm like, all right, Chad, if we're gonna do tier lists, what are we gonna do? So I have a whole list.
Oh, all right, sweet. Hell yeah. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
so I'm definitely down. This is lawful good stays within the laws morally pure. Oh, I love how people change some of the tiers. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. We hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna be doing more. But anyways, that is it. And peace.